Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you can see we have lots of snow still in the background, but we are getting ready to get some seeds started inside the house so we can be ready for this spring. Hopefully this will be a better year. Seems like the snow and everything's going a little bit earlier than it did last year, so we're hopeful for a much better harvest.
Absolutely, the temperatures are warming up pretty fast. We're getting 30, almost 40 degrees. The snow is receding. We can see the tops of the mountains, and it looks like we're going to have a definite early spring this year. So we're looking forward to that.
Sure beats negative 40.
Sure. We have one more snap in there, so a little bit more firewood collection, but seed starts, they take a while, and it's a lot different than what we're used to dealing with in North Carolina. So we like to stay ahead of ourselves just in case we've made some form of mistake.
Now we're going to go inside and actually show you our setup with our grow lights and stuff. So let's go check it out. Okay, so these are our little pellets that we showed you in the beginning of the video, and this is 72 or 2 trays of 72 each. And we are planning on getting some more. I thought that we had some more, but I think they got ruined out in the Shelter Logic over the winter. So we'll have to work on getting some new ones. We've got some silicone ones out there that we can use, but they're a lot smaller than this. So anyway, now we've got some warm water ready to go, and we're going to make these little pellets swell up, and then we're going to show you what we're going to plant this year. Here's our shelf we've got inside the house. This is just a dome, a humidity dome for the plants. We don't have any more pellets to put in here just yet, but we will. And we've got our light there and another light here. And eventually we'll probably get more, but for now this is our small simple setup. It does run off of a battery, and I'll let Andy explain a little bit more about that for you, and what our plans are as far as putting these lights here on timers. They do get fairly hot, to be honest. Ow, that is pretty hot, but it's a nice LED grow light. It's full spectrum. It does look a little more red than blue light, but we're going to see how it works out for them. And Andy was talking about just a second ago, maybe putting a timer like this
In the loop
so that we can turn it on and off. Obviously, we do not run our generator all day long. We will run off of our solar as long as we can, and then we head into the generator. So usually we just use it to top the batteries off.
All right, so basically what I do is I run this on a battery system that I just designed real quick. It doesn't pull very much, and it's only 26 watts plus this T5, and that's a nanotech. I could run it for days upon days upon days on this cell that I have set up. There's no generator that needs to run. There's no power that needs to run here at all. It is an independent power solution to be able to sprout seeds. So when we have the system set up over there, basically it's an independent power system solution that I came up with. If I put a timer in the loop, it's basically hands-free, meaning I don't have to be there to turn on the light. I don't have to be there to turn off the light. The timer automatically does that. It is operated basically on the premises of a deep cycle battery. I have 5 options to be able to plug in grow lights. I have the nanotech T5s. They take almost no power. I wouldn't have to recharge for days. With the new lights, I don't know how long that's going to take, but we could pop without running a generator, without having any power, without having any utility. We could run for days potentially without recharging, and in the scheme of things, I could bring it over here and set it up to run off of our big panels to go into that DC cell.
I'll show them that. We're running everything off of that size battery, 115. And then there's the actual charge controller.
If you want to see that live install, you can see Corey and I install that outside. This summer we put those up. So this past summer that we put those up, and you can get all the specs and everything like that from that. But this is the Rover, the 60 amp MPPT charge controller that we run through that. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good system. I have a secondary backup just in case we dip down into the negatives to be able to run heat mats. Anytime you make heat from a DC battery, it takes a lot of extra power, so that would have to be an additional battery, which you see right here in a different inverter. It doesn't pull a lot of amps. It doesn't pull a lot of watts. It pulls a lot. It takes a lot of power to be able to heat that strip inside of the heat mats. But one heat mat goes under each one of these, and I can regulate that with a controller, meaning that I have a digital controller that I can put in the loop on the battery that takes almost nothing because it's an LCD, and I can put that on there, and I can pick what temperature I want to start to propagate these seeds with, which, you know, we try to keep it between, which is a realistic number, between 72 and 80. Not much under 72. 80 is best, but it's hard to obtain that in here even with a heat mat.
Yeah.
So we generally try to run 75 degrees with a heat mat underneath of that. So I have a couple of thermometers that I keep over there on the dome to be able to do that, and I also have a temperature regulator that goes inside the T5 and inside of this to tell me the temperature at the bottom of that, what my heat mat is running.
And we have some temperature control things in here that show us the humidity levels, which are important too. We'll show you that. Okay, you can see our temperature gauge here. It says 71.7 and 42% humidity. So we don't usually get over 75 or so degrees in here, especially during the winter time. Now in the summertime it can be a little bit different. We're trying to experiment with some insulation and things like that to see if we can hold the temperature a little better in here, cooler or hotter. So we don't have ventilation very much, so you know, it's a learning experience. But anyway, this is the temperature gauge that we were talking about, to help us see what the temperature is regulated to in here, and the humidity. It's important, especially for seeds.
Okay, so this is a heat mat. I'll show you what it is. It has some basic instructions. They plug into controls, and then you can control the temperature. I'll give you a good look at that. It basically shows, and they have these for sale in a lot of places. We'll just say that, we'll leave it there. They go directly underneath of that black tray, and what that does is it regulates as a constant temperature, in which you'll be able to control your temperature, humidity much easier. You'll be able to figure out a setting that is right for you, and there are a ton of settings right here. They basically show you and tell you what crop, what basil, it goes all the way down, peppers, tomatoes, and it basically gives you the approximate days to germination between 70 and 85 degrees. Here, it's in 3 different languages. This is double insulated. This plugs right into a 110, 120 volt power source, and it is best to put it on an insulated surface rather than a cold floor. It's hard for it to regulate properly by that, and this mat is a 10 by 20.75.
We actually have used some that are similar to this, but they were made for
reptiles.
and it was very, very sticky on the back, and that
No, it didn't work very well.
Didn't pan out too well for us.
I'll show you how these actually work. And I have close to 100% propagation, seed popping with that. So I have almost 100%. If they're going to pop, they're going to pop, and they're going to use you, because you can regulate the temperature and humidity in this with the right amount of heat underneath of these. You can regulate humidity, and humidity actually helps tremendously. Let me show you how that works. The heat mat sets right underneath of this. You see that? It sets right underneath of this. It's the same size. And then you put the dome on top of it, and that regulates it. So it's the same size as most of these trays. These are single thick. We usually use double thick. They don't bend or flex as much.
And I think we need to mention that the heat mats were really only more necessary here because we do not have thermostatically controlled temperature in the storage container that we live in. It is not regulated. So this application we absolutely do have to, especially when we have temperatures like -40.
Generally, I say I run at about 75. I haven't gone wrong with that. 75%, better than 50% humidity underneath of the dome until they pop, and then humidity becomes dangerous because it will start to rot the seedling. So you would want to take the top off gradually and get them hardened off to less humidity.
All right, so we're going to show you what kind of seeds we have in the lineup. All right, so here's the seed lineup. We've got our lettuce, romaine, and iceberg. Now, we did a lot of that last year. We probably will not concentrate as much on that because it's hard to preserve, and hopefully we'll be doing some canning. We got some broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, carrots. I don't know if you guys have ever tried these cosmic purple carrots. They are fantastic. They're a little bit spicy, but they're great. We've got several variations of kohlrabi, really good for salads. Of course, our onions, they did pretty well last year, hoping for even better this year. We didn't try the parsnips last year because they take, I think it was, let's see, good Lord, 95 days to harvest, and we thought, that's pushing it, but we might try it. And we got our tomatoes, cherry and Roma, green beans, Swiss chard, all those things we did last year. This year, we got some butternut squash. Really excited about that. We tried it for the first time ever recently, and it was really good. And we're used to having zucchini and squash. It always did really well in North Carolina, so we're going to go for that. Cucumbers as well, and our peppers. We did get a couple bell peppers off of our plants last year. They didn't do as well as we had hoped, but we didn't have a whole lot of sun. We had a whole lot of rain. We're hoping for a better harvest year this year, better weather. So we're going to get all these guys planted. We're probably going to do about 2 or 3 more trays full of starts, and we'll give you guys an update whenever we get them all, when they start popping out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Happy gardening.
Y'all, I just had to show you this boy's hat. Look at his hat.
High vis.
Yep.
High vis.
You'll never lose it. That much is a fact. If you do lose it, you're doing something wrong.
And we don't lose him in the crowd either.
Right.
Yeah,
we can pinpoint him immediately. Not that there's many crowds up here.
Yeah.
There's not.